Thank you, Brad. I'm too short to see over the top of that. I have to come after the whole person. That's a bit better. Now I made it too short. It won't tilt. I had a really hard time deciding what to read tonight. So some of you folks that I sat at the table with might recognize this from about 3 years ago. This is the beginning of a long piece I wrote called Captain Beefheart Is Not My Soundtrack, which still isn't actually finished, but it may be one day. So here it is. It was more than past 3 in the morning, the end of that one hot week we always get in Portland, the last really hot night of summer. There I was, naked, but for flip-flops, holding my rolled-up t-shirt and dungarees and a bunch of wilted roses pulled from the piles of dead heads in the West Rose Garden. I was in the alley down beside of our apartment building, the one low, narrow pane of Ash's basement apartment window, open outwards, all ghosty by my feet. The music from the window sounded small, dampened from being underground. Steady beat of woodblock and drums, jangly guitars, Björk screaming, delicious demon. There I was, everything I have exposed. No movement in the air to relieve the dull heat that pressed all over my skin. Sweat damp, sticky in my armpits. One tiny, insistent trickle down the inside of my thigh. That last hot night, the whole universe eased in close to my body. God and everything, if there is one, looked down at me. Stripes of moss fluffy in the cracks of the tall wood fence. Potted geraniums and ferns and broken pots with dead things growing new life again along the edge of the stone flag path. All orange in the streetlight that sheltered me, the pots, fence and apartment building, all from the hugeness of the sky. The brick wall in shadow, Ash's window at my feet. The quality of that night was magic. Everything was connected. The city light, the moss, insects, bugs, even single-celled things, all over it, in everything you can't see. The death and life and wonder of it, bricks and mortar, Ash's apartment and my apartment, our two spaces, boxes stacked one on top of the other inside the building. Ash and all the sleepers all around. That night, I saw it as it was, how everything touches on the inside and glows with this other kind of light, all in sync. Everything in the universe in a dance, in and around me. Delicious demon, Björk screamed, and inside me, the little rose-like opening, young and soft and happy in the middle of my chest. How eccentric and romantic I was being. I knelt down and reached the roses through the window. There was something in me that just opened when I was near Ash. Ever since the first time we held on to each other, that amazing thing that happened between us. Since then, whenever we touched, a little channel to eternity began to unfurl, like a rose. It grasped my whole attention and it sucked me in. It got me from the inside, open in my chest, as well as from the outside, both at once. And that amazing thing is what I always try to get to, though I never really get there, because I can't explain it. It made me be what I didn't know I could be, and I've never been able to close it a fraction. When I was home, the warm, dark, smooth sureness of Ash welled up from his basement apartment. through my blonde wood floor to envelop me. Dark clouds of him melted into my skin like I wasn't really solid. That's how he called me. He never knocked or called my phone. Sometimes I lay down on the floor in the dark and felt down to him. I lay my loneliness down into the dark clouds of him when it's too much to go to him face to face. And all the outcast, abandoned child pain in me would cry, and all the violated, unsexed woman in me would cry, struck useless in that cloud that was ash. So I was crouched there that hot night by Ash's window. So delicious, Björk screamed, and the song ended. I let go the roses through the open window. Infant thorns prickled over my fingers. One stem caught and balanced for a moment on the web of my thumb. Wilted petals cool on my knuckles. I turned my wrist and it fell. The roses, over sweetness still with me, the too feminine perfume that says, love this life, be sweet and sweet and sweet as roses. Don't worry about the thorns. Each rose landed with a tiny distant thump. For a moment I heard only my breath, then a cry. A little, oh, how good that feels kind of cry from inside the room. It wasn't Ash's voice. Ash didn't cry like that. Ash made deep kind of lowing noises in his throat, very quiet till he's building up to come. This voice was more of a moan, masculine but a few tones up from Ash. I think I heard Ash's lows in back of it, the bass note in sync. Two plow takes two as well, Björk sang the same song on repeat. I shifted back on my heels, on my flip-flops, in the dark, in the alley. A trickle of sweat itched in my armpit. I wiped at it with the back of my hand. It stung bitter where a rose had scratched my left boob. Thank you.